Good morning. How are you? I am here to help you have a successful Thanksgiving week. I don't want you to go into it with fear. I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, I'm going to gain so much weight, because whatever our story is, we create. So if we're fearful that we're going to be gaining weight and ruining all our progress, that leads our food choices with guilt and shame and fear, which equals larger portion sizes, more sugary choices, and a snowball effect. So rather than having a dessert, it's like, okay, I'll have this appetizer and screw it, I'll have this beer, and then I'll have this roll, and then I'll have seconds, and then I'll have a dessert because I've already ruined it. Now, let me tell you that you cannot ruin your hard work in one day. It doesn't work that way, okay? You can't even ruin it really in a week unless you're gonna just stuff yourself the entire week. So the very first tip that I want to give you is eat less and exercise more. Okay, so if you're gonna go into the Thanksgiving week, you know that you have a couple parties and that the portions are, they can be abundant and more carb loaded. Eat less. Okay, so just choose smaller portion sizes, but more importantly, exercise more. So the very first thing that we do in the holidays is we stop moving. Okay, so no excuses. Get up, set your alarm 30 minutes earlier, do 20 minutes of stairs, sprint up, jog down, do 20 minutes of HIIT where you go really hard for 30, 45, or 60 seconds, and you rest 60 or 75 seconds to get your heart rate back down. So what you want to do if you do a HIIT, high intensity interval training, is you will want to do a warm up to get your body warm, and then a stretch, okay, so that you're not going to injure yourself. And then you want to go super hard in the work period. You want to get your heart rate, your breathing, so like you can't talk to somebody like, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing today. That's not a work period. It should be 80 to 90% of your heart rate or your maximal effort, okay? And then during the rest, you want to get your heart rate and your breathing back down to normal. So really keeping a deep breath down into the belly, in through the nose, out through the mouth will do that. If you can do a HIIT or stairs or anything for 20 minutes, that's going to be better than nothing. So don't make the excuse that you've got to go to the gym, that you've got to have an hour to work out, because that's not true, okay? So eat less, exercise more. Okay, tip number 2, eat breakfast. So many of us, especially if we have a heavy dinner at night, and we're feeling tired, we go for the coffee, the quick grab coffee, and then, oh, well, screw it, I'll grab a muffin or whatever, or nothing, even worse. So in the morning, definitely have a healthy breakfast. If you don't have time for breakfast, have a shake. My favorite is the Arbonne shakes. They're easy. I put fiber in them so that it keeps me fuller longer, and it helps with weight loss. 25 to 35 grams of fiber per day is necessary for just healthy digestion as well as weight loss. So having a breakfast with protein, healthy fats, fiber, and low carb is really key to keeping your blood sugar stable, your blood sugar and your insulin stable throughout the day, and keeping those cravings at bay. As we get busier, as we're going to parties, as we're entertaining, we forget to drink water. Hydration, as I always say, water is to weight loss or weight maintenance as donuts are to weight gain. So having your water intake for 32 ounces of water per day is non-negotiable. Wake up, and before you have your tea or coffee, have 16, 20, 32 ounces of water. That starts your day hydrated, because if you wake up and look at your pee, it's yellow, right? That means you're dehydrated. And then if you go to coffee, you're dehydrating yourself even more. So to keep your skin looking younger, everything moving, your mood up, your energy up, your cravings down, your cortisol levels down, water is the key. So start with a big glass or 32 ounces. I say get a bottle that you like and drink that water, and make sure that throughout the day you're continuing that, because as we get into this crazy pace, I feel like we're often telling ourselves it's a crazy pace and we're so stressed throughout the holidays. So try to keep that story at bay, but keep your water up. I would also suggest, this is tip 4, protein shake before the crash. So the crash, I mean, is when we get tired between 1 and 3, 2 and 4. When we get tired in the afternoon, the first thing we want or we crave is like something caffeinated and carby. okay? Because that's our body saying, okay, little tired here, I need some energy. However, when we crave those things, that's false energy. That's the quickest form of energy for sure. But if you make sure that you have a protein shake, I do it like unsweetened coconut milk is my favorite. You can do it with water as well, some fiber and about 20 grams of protein. If you have that as you're headed into that tired period or right before, that's going to help negate those cravings. It's going to keep your energy up, your insulin levels up. You're not going to be so hungry and snacky before dinner. It's a really great way to get an adequate amount of protein in throughout the day, but also to keep your appetite down a little bit. When you're out for Thanksgiving Day, make low sugar, complex carb dishes. So whether you're hosting or attending, make something that you feel comfortable eating. Okay, so if you're going to a party, it's never a bad thing if you bring a dish. So if you bring a dish that you know that you can really confidently eat and it's going to make you feel really in control, and it's a healthy choice, then definitely bring it. And if you're hosting, then you can really choose to make healthier choices. People do not know. Often I make things gluten-free. They have no idea. Now, if you tell them, you're going to get a reaction like, oh, I don't buy gluten-free. Just don't tell them. Just make it. Okay? If you're hosting, they're not going to complain, and things taste awesome with less sugar or sugar substitutes or gluten-free. Grab a smaller plate. Okay? So if we have a big plate, we have a tendency to do bigger portions. That's just plain and simple. Grab a smaller plate, an appetizer plate, and choose, your protein, your veggies. And if you want a complex carb of something that you never get, that's not something that you normally get on a daily basis, sure, go ahead and give yourself permission to have that. I always say to make a worth it list. Okay, so if you make a worth it list, like a dessert that you absolutely love and never have, a side dish that you never get, those things are worth it. Sometimes red wine is worth it. Whatever your goals are, it's totally okay. Make a worth it list so that when you go in there and you're looking at this buffet, this smorgasbord of food, you're not like, ooh, that looks good. Ooh, that looks good. And then you're sitting and it feels like a rock in your stomach. Instead, you've already made a list so you feel confident and comfortable, and you've already given yourself permission to enjoy those worth it foods, and you're good with it. Stay away from seconds. Okay, seconds taste way better the day after. If it's at your house, you can have a plate the day after. If you really want seconds and you're visiting, grab a plate, a healthy plate to go with you, but stay away from seconds. Okay. The other thing I say to stay away from is appetizers. Okay, appetizers, those loaded cheese dips, those casseroles, or whatever it may be. Again, this is where a make it worth it list counts, right? Instead of mindless eating, because so many times appetizers are for mindless eaters. We're not hungry, it's there, we're chatting, we're talking. Just be present, really enjoy the conversations that you're having with people, the people that you're around. Have that fill you up rather than the appetizers, because then you're ruining the main dish. Chew, breathe, taste, and enjoy, right? So we are constantly eating so fast. It's not a race, okay? So sit down, stay off Facebook, you're watching TV, but really try to chew, try to taste, try to enjoy. So no mindless eating. Because when we are not present while we're eating, we eat way more, and then we don't even feel full, and we'll go back before we even know we're full. And then it's sitting like a rock. We're tired and we're ready to hit, go down for a nap. After Thanksgiving dinner or after heavy meal, get outside and walk. Grab a friend, grab a headphone, grab some family members, grab your dog. Dogs are a great excuse to go for a walk. Get outside and walk just a little bit. I don't care if it's cold. It will feel good. Moving, helping that heavier food process and digest in your stomach. Walking is very good for that. The last tip is we are not trying to lose weight this week. If you do, awesome, but we are trying to maintain. And more importantly, I want you to enjoy this week. I don't want you to feel guilty. I don't want you to feel shame. I don't want you to be like, oh my God, I've fallen off the bandwagon. Enough of that crap. I don't want to hear it. You are in control, and a few indulgences are not going to ruin your progress. It's when you feel guilty that you've eaten a piece of cake, and then, oh my God, I've ruined it. That's when shame, fear, and guilt come in. And then we choose to have other unhealthy choices for the rest of the evening and the next day. That's where it gets us in trouble. Okay, so make it a worth it list. Give yourself permission. Relax, stay present, and be grateful. Have a great Thanksgiving, and I will see you soon.